Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to show you guys how I went about making this. I call it the Jack and Sally bag from Nightmare Before Christmas. That obviously is the front of it and this is the back. It's originally I'm going to show you really quick. Actually move that out of the way. So it's actually originally a travel bag. However, it's supposed to be worked in two panels, a front panel and a back panel. However, I decided to make it into more of a purse slash holding bag, I guess you could say, just to put stuff in. So I only made one panel and then I modified it. To show you guys for this video, I'm going to be using, it's Red Heart Super Saver yarn and it's size 4. You can buy this at Walmart, and this is, let me see if I can find it here. Oh, let's see here. So this is 236 yards, and it was relatively cheap. It was only, I believe it was less than $4. I think it was like $3.97. And it is newspaper stripe, okay? But as you can see, it kind of varies between white, a light gray, dark gray, and black. This one, this yarn is actually from Mainstays, and you can actually pick it up at Walmart. It was actually a bigger roll of yarn versus a bigger skin of yarn versus this, but it was cheaper too. It was only like $2.97. And what you're going to be doing is you can do this in two different ways. You can use either one color of yarn. So technically when I make this, I could use just this one skin of yarn. Or what you can do is you can take two different skins, two different colors, and put them together. And I think I might try that just because I want to see kind of what it's going to look like. Let's see if, so what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be using, again, both size 4, but I'm going to be using this yarn as well as black, okay? So, and I will show you how I modified this going along. So to begin, you're just going to start off by chaining 37, okay? Alright, so once you get your 37, and when you're doing this, you might notice that your string, if you're using two colors, you might notice it kind of twists. It might help to try to keep it straight just so that way both colors pop out pretty easily. You're going to have, I forgot to tell you, you're going to have a main color, which I'm going to be using, I think, I'm going to be using this white gray slash black color as my main, and then you'll have a contrast color, which is basically going to be my black, okay? Just to FYI for that. So after you chain your 37, it's going to look something like this, okay? And then what you're going to do is you're going to go into the you're going to go into the second stitch from the hook, which this does not count as a stitch, and this you're going to skip, go into that second stitch, and you want to try to keep your stitches loose if you can. And then you're going to do one single crochet, all right? And then all you're going to do from here on out is you're going to go into each chain and you're going to do one single crochet right down the row, okay? And you want to make sure that you're picking up all of the yarn. So when you're going into your chain, make sure if you're using two different colors, make sure you're getting through both of those colors, okay? As well as when you're hooking it, make sure you're getting through all of those, both of those colors, all right? And then at the end of this row where you did go into that second stitch from the hook, that's actually going to leave you with 36 single crochets, okay? And that's what you want. So at the end of this, I would definitely count your stitches just to make sure that you have the right amount, okay? So I'm going to pause the video, finish this, and I will meet you guys right back here. Alright, so here you go. Here's row 1. So row 2, what you're going to do is you're going to chain 1, and you're just going to turn your work, and you're not going to go into the stitch closest to your hook. You're going to go into this next stitch and just place 1 single crochet. And what I like to do to know, so that way it helps me know that it's my first stitch, you could use a stitch marker if you want, but what I like to do is just make that slightly a little bit more looser than the rest. You don't want it too loose to where you'll obviously notice it, just so that way it helps you know that is your first stitch that you've made. And all you're going to do is you're going to place 1 single crochet in each stitch down the row, and that's actually going to leave you with 35, because again, at the end of row 2 we ended with 36 stitches, okay? And then or at the end of row 1, sorry, we ended up with 36 stitches. Row 2, because you're skipping and you're going to that next stitch, you're skipping that 1 extra stitch, which is going to leave you with 35 stitches in row 2. All right, and then when you get to the end of this, you want to try to remember to go into the turning chain. That's going to help you get that 35th stitch. All right, and then I'm also going to modify this a little bit more than what I originally did, because when I originally made this, I did not, if you're going to put buttons on it like I did, I'm going to show you how to alter the pattern so that way you can kind of do that, because I didn't, when I originally made the purple bag, I didn't do that, and I will definitely admit getting the buttons on was easy, but when it comes to opening and closing the bag, it's not as easy, because when I was making the pattern, I just didn't even think of that alteration. So I am gonna, when I'm doing this one, I am gonna make that alteration, and I'll show you guys how to go about doing that. And I think we'll actually do that in this next, in row 3, okay? So just making sure. So I'm going to pause the video because I want to finish this row up, and then I want to count my stitches, and I will meet you guys right back here for row 3, and I'll show you how to do that alteration and what to do from there, okay? Okay, so I am back. So this is what we have so far, okay? Which I kind of wish I would have used this yarn to begin with, because I feel like it's more of a Nightmare Before Christmas feel to it. So for row 3, what we're actually working on right now is technically, I guess you could call it like the back of the project, and this is more towards the bottom. So we're actually not going to make the modifications for the buttons until probably we get closer to when we're in the 20s for the row, okay? So all you're going to do for rows 3 through 12 is you're just going to repeat row 2, okay? And then once you get to the end of row 12, whatever you have for your contrast color, which mine would be black, I would drop that, and then I'm gonna just stick with using this, okay? So I'm going to pause the video and do rows 3 through 12, and then I will meet you guys back here and I'll show you how to start row 13. Again, you're just going to repeat row 2. So for each row, you should have 35 stitches. And don't forget to go into the turning chain, because that's going to help you get that 35th stitch. Hi, so I'm not done with my rows, but I wanted to show you really quick kind of what I have going on here with that yarn, which it's kind of pretty cool looking. It kind of has that like dark, depressing you know, look to it, that Nightmare Before Christmas look that, you know, the movie gives off, because the movie, it's a really good movie, but it is kind of has that dark atmosphere at the same time. So like I said, if anybody's interested in this yarn, it's from Red Heart, and I actually originally bought it for when I'm gonna make my daughter's blanket, and I'm still gonna use it for part of her blanket to make roses, but like I said, it's relatively cheap. It was only, I want to say it was like $3.97, or it might have even been like $2.97 at Walmart. So oops, pull that together. Okay, so yeah, I just wanted to take a quick minute and show you guys what I have going on here. I am currently, I believe, on row 7 out of 12. So it's coming along. I don't know which one I want to give, because I'm originally making this for my friend. Nightmare Before Christmas is one of her favorite movies. She loves Jack and Sally, and the buttons that I bought too are at Walmart as well, in case you guys wanted to do, those were actually relatively cheap too. They were not very expensive at all. So in case you wanted to get the same supplies, you know, but you can definitely use whatever kind of yarn you prefer. You only need to do, sorry, I was looking at my camera really quick. You can choose, if you prefer, you can use just one skin of yarn. You don't have to double up on the colors like I am if you don't prefer to do that way. If you do double up on the yarn, it does obviously make it a little bit more thicker of a pattern. So when we get to the middle section of the pattern too, where you're using just your main color, you will have to cut a new strand of yarn for your new color, just to let you know that. You can also just use one strand. I believe when I made the purple, I ended up using just one strand for that main, when I was using just strictly that main color. So it's really your preference and all of, you know, what you like as far as design goes and feel. Right now I really like the double up version, only because it's much more thicker, so I feel like it's a lot more sturdy. You don't have to worry, especially when it comes to crochet, you don't have to worry about stuff falling out of your, if you use this as a purse, you don't have to worry about stuff falling out of it. You can just strictly, you know, you can actually put like important stuff in there, like keys and, you know, pocketbook, wallets, cell phones, and not have that worry that it's going to break or that it's going to fall out. So I'm gonna pause the video again and finish up my rows. Just bring that with that. And then I will be back when I get done with row 12, which I'm almost there. I have to recount my rows, but I believe I'm going to be starting row 8, so I am almost there. I also want to count my stitches too. It's definitely very important that when you get done with each row, you want to go back and count your stitches. It is time consuming, but it's going to make sure that this edge stays nice and straight and it doesn't end up warped. It's going to make sure that both edges, honestly, you end up nice and straight. But I'll show you guys really quick. So that's what it looks like so far. It's one of those sporadically changing colored yarn things, I guess is what you I know that's not the technical term, but you know. So, alright, I'll be right back. Alright, so I am back. So this is what we have so far, okay? It's 13 rows. Or 12 rows, sorry. So what you're going to do is you're going to drop your contrast color, which mine is the black, okay? And I didn't last time, but I think what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to work double, because I do like the thickness of this. I feel like it's, you know, a lot more secure than just working one strand of yarn. So bear with me one moment, and I am going to get just a piece of yarn really quick. I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm back. So to start row 13, again, like I said, I'm using, technically I'm still using my main color, but I pulled it from the end and joined it. And where it's multicolored, it's black. So yeah, so basically, once you join your yarn, you're going to chain 3. All right, and your contrast color that you were originally using, which mine is black, you can just keep it kind of hanging down as is, and then when you're ready to rejoin, you'll just kind of carry it along to the side like that, okay? So you're going to chain 3, and then what you're going to do is you're going to, because this counts at the chaining of 3 counts as a double crochet. So from there, what you're going to want to do, is you're going to skip your first stitch and double crochet in the next stitch and across, and that's going to bring you back to the 36. Okay, so you're not going to go into this one, all right, because that's the one closest from the hook, and that's basically going to count as a double crochet. So you're going to go into this one and just do a double crochet. And you're just going to do that all the way across. All right, and if it helps, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4. You kind of want to count as you go. realized I think instead of doing, whoops, I'm gonna pause the video because I think I wasn't paying attention. I can't remember. Whoops. All right, so so what you're gonna do, whoops, is just continue. Ignore me pulling out my yarn here. I just messed up, so I'm just gonna. All right, so I'm gonna pause the video, finish this up, and just remember you're gonna do one double crochet in each stitch along, and then you're going to, at the end, you should be back up to 36 stitches total. Okay, so like I said, I will be right back after I finish this row. Okay, so at the end of row 13, just give me one moment here. So at the end of row 13, you should have 36 double crochets, okay? And then all you're doing for row 14 through 19 is you're repeating row 13. And you're going to use 2 strands of your main color or 1, depending on, what you prefer. I'm using my main color, so I'm using 2 strands. And again, you're just going to do, you're going to chain 3, turn your work, and then, hold on one moment. Okay. All you're going to do is turn your work. You're going to skip this stitch, go into this next stitch, and do a double crochet. And you're just going to do that all the way down to the row, to the end of the, and for each row, you should have 36 stitches, or 36 double crochets, okay? So that's all you're doing for rows 14 through 19, and they work up relatively fast too. I apologize if I'm going out of the camera. I'm trying to remember to stay underneath the camera so you guys can actually see what I'm doing. But I'm going to pause the video and I'm going to finish this up, and then that way that gives me time to show you guys how to do the remainder, okay? So really quickly, I have 2 more stitches left that I have to do, so I wanted to show you how to go about doing that if you're at the end here. So you're going to do a double crochet into this stitch right here, okay? That's your 35. And then this turning chain, you're just going to do 1 double crochet, right? And that's your 36, and that's going to keep your edges nice and straight. Alright, so again, like I said, I have to finish up with this, and I will meet you guys right back here. Alright, so after you're done with row 19, I only did up to row 17, but after you're done with row 19, you're going to move on to row 20, and all you're going to do is, actually I'm going to go up one more row. I'm going to do one more row. And I think I wasn't going to, I was going to try to just do this all in one video, but I might have a separate video on how to do the handle, is what I'm thinking. Because when I take videos, I'm using my cell phone, so I can only do, when I take videos, it only lets me do like 40 minutes of videos, and when it comes to crochet, that's a little hard to do. especially depending on, you know, the size of project that you do. So sometimes you have to break it down. So I might have to, I wanted to do this all in just one simple video, but I might have a separate video, I think, to show you guys how to go about doing the handles as well as sewing this together. So it might actually be better in your benefit, especially if you're new to crocheting. If you're experienced, then you know you won't have any issues with that, but for people who are new to crochet, it might be something that they're interested in having a more of kind of like an in-depth video that they can watch. And the reason I'm decided to go and do one more row, and I believe, oh, one moment, I'm going to pause the video. My cat has my string. Oh, nope, he let go. So one other reason why I actually think there's a flaw in this pattern, and the reason I say is because when you hit row 20 and you're ready to do row 20, you're supposed to be able to pick up your contrast strand that you dropped, and you're going to let go of your main string, or not main string, sorry, your yeah, one of your main strings that you're using if you're doubling up like I am. And the reason I say that is because I've made like 2 of these purses so far, and this is my 3rd, and the one I didn't come across this issue because I only used one strand of yarn the whole time, but when I was doing the other one, I noticed I actually had to do an extra row to just come about and be where I needed to be able to pick up that strand of yarn. And how much does my okay, I got some time. Alright, so I'm going to pause the video and then I will be right back, you guys. I just want to finish this row up so that way I'm at where I am. But this is what I have so far. I'm going to zoom out if I can just so you guys can see. This is what it looks like. That's that. Okay, so I will be right back. Okay, so I'm back. So all I did, I'm going to move my scissors so they're not in my way. So for row 20, one moment. I am so sorry I keep pausing the video. I have a dog and kids. Life comes first. I gotta take my dog out really quick. Hold on, and I will be right back. Alright, so for rows 20 through 27, okay, again, you're going to want to drop one of your main color strings, and then you're going to pick up your contrast color again. And what I did, sorry, is I just brought it up to the side. You want it kind of tight and not loose when you do that. All I did was I brought it up to the side, made sure it was nice and tight, kind of did a slip stitch to kind of tie it in there, and then I'm just going to do this, and then I'm going to just do chain 1, okay? And there you go. Because when you sew your panels together, or if you're doing a purse like I am, when you sew the sides together, you're not even going to notice this. We're going to hide that, okay? So, and then what I did was the second main color that I was using, I just cut off and I kind of buried it into here, and then we're going to crochet around that so it's not going to come out. So all you're doing for the last 7 steps for this, before you get to the handle, is you're repeating row 2. So all row 2 is, again, is you're chaining 1, which I've already done. Okay, you're going to turn your work, and then you're going to go into not this stitch, but you're going to go into this stitch, and you're just going to do a single crochet. And again, try to keep it loose so that way you know where you started. It might be a little bit easier. Okay, I like to try to keep that loose if possible. And then just go into each chain and just do one single crochet, and that is all you're going to do with this. And I know for this, I'm holding my yarn actually the old way I used to hold it. The reason I did that and I didn't do the technique where, you know, I wrap it around my hand like that and hold it with my pinky is because, I mean, you could easily do that. I just feel like when it twists, I like to be able to try to fix it and straighten it out. So that way it helps those extra colors pop out, you know. But you can obviously hold your hook any way you want to, any way that feels comfortable to you, okay? And whoops, I wrapped that around it. I was got so used to doing double crochets, I wasn't thinking, gotta do the single crochets now. And then at the end of these rows, because you skipped that stitch in the beginning, it's gonna put us back down to 35 stitches per row. And don't forget to go into that turning chain at the end, and that is going to put you in at the 35th stitch that you need, okay? So I'm going to pause the video and finish this up and show you guys what that result looks like, and then I'm going to, there will be a second video, part 2, on how to do the handle, how to sew the sides together, and how to also, I might even consider doing, showing you guys how I go about putting on the buttons, okay? So, again, I'm gonna work on these. You don't have to go all the way up to 27. Again, it's really your desired length. I honestly probably won't even go up to 27. I might just go up to 26 and call it good. It's really your preference as to how long you want your bag or your tote, whatever you're making. That's really it's all up to your preference, okay? So I'm going to pause the video and I will be right back. Alright, you guys. So I went up to 24 rows total. So I'm going to end this video, but look for part 2. I'm going to show you guys how to do the handle, how to sew your sides together. If you are making the travel bag pictured here, then you're going to want to make another panel of this, okay?